There's a glitch in the system. Flashes of dimly lit machinery cascade across the screen. A date appears in red against a black backdrop, 1994. You can't exactly make it out, but there is something on the ground. Piano keys dance and linger all around you, repeating at an increasing rate of speed. Eerie music begins. It's getting louder. You can hear some sort of creature as the flashes of machinery are getting quicker. Then the music crescendos, and we're given the entire picture. Ominous music plays as the camera pans out to reveal a jellyfish-like creature encased in glass with dead scientists surrounding it. The tone, the implications of the imagery, the music. These few seconds immediately fill you with dread. Something has gone horribly wrong, and it's only the start screen. This is why we love Super Metroid. Super Metroid begins when you, Samus Aran, a stoic, space bounty hunter and one of the coolest characters ever, think Boba Fett if he didn't suck at everything, receives a distress signal from the Ceres space colony. In the previous game in the franchise, you captured the last Metroid, a parasitic organism that could be exploited as a deadly weapon or to land in the wrong hands. Your mission was to destroy the Metroids, but the last Metroid took to you as its mother. That might be important later. So you delivered it to scientists at the Ceres space colony, in hopes that they could help mankind by using the powers of the Metroid for good. But when you arrive at the lab to respond to the distress signal, the last Metroid is no longer encased in glass. The eerie, dark blue lighting from the intro is present. Dead scientists lay at your feet. Ominous music plays. There is tension here, and it is palpable. You make your way through the seemingly abandoned space colony in what might seem like a throwaway section of the game at first, until you realize the function this prologue serves. In addition to setting the tone, the entire time you're traversing the space colony, the game is actually familiarizing you with the controls in a safe environment. No hand-holding here, none needed. Super Metroid is designed so perfectly that you're going to figure it out on your own. Once you pass through the lab, down a dark corridor, you find the last Metroid, in a dark room, by itself, in a jar. Nothing good can come of this, and you can feel it. Then, Ridley, the space pirate pterodactyl dragon scorpion god, appears before you. He has the last Metroid and an epic battle begins. That's right, your first enemy, a boss fight. It's a battle you can't win and you can't really lose either. Again, it's designed to teach you the mechanics of the game. You inevitably succumb to failure, and Ridley escapes with the last Metroid. And just like that, the stakes have been set. You have a mortal enemy who has taken the thing you came here for, and now you have to go get it and lay down a beating. It couldn't get more straightforward, and the best part is that you feel the stakes. The game didn't tell you to feel them. You hate Ridley because nobody likes losing, and you can't win, so you cannot wait to see Ridley again, and you know that you will. The game has motivated you to get moving on this adventure. Something else has got you moving though too. A timer. Because that epic space colony you just got defeated in is about to self-destruct. In 60 seconds. After a whirlwind of explosions, shaking, and panic, with a countdown timer centered on your screen for the entire escape, which cranks the tension to levels that make your hands sweat on the controller, you fly out in your awesome spaceship as the colony explodes behind you in Michael Bay fashion, and you head to the nearby planet of Zebes to reclaim the last Metroid and get revenge on some space pirates. The game just started. Everything I've described to you thus far, you could have played through in just a few minutes. As a matter of fact, speedrunners usually clear that first section in about 90 seconds. The real game begins when you land on Zebes. Your ship lands on the alien planet to very little fanfare. No triumphant music. It's actually eerily silent, but for some atmospheric background noise. The landscape is cold and barren. There is no life. When you exit the ship, there is nothing. Nothing to your left, nothing to your right, no enemies to fight, no sign pointing you in the right direction. This game is not going to hold your hand. The backbone of Super Metroid is exploration and discovery. You will traverse the same spaces so often, Zebes will feel like you're walking around in your childhood home by the end of the game because you'll know it so well. Finding new weapons or upgrades to your suit will gain you access to new areas that you may have come across previously but could not access. The game is so perfectly designed that even with its complexity, your mind will naturally start looking for solutions to problems you didn't even know were there. The joy of getting a new upgrade and testing it out, or knowing that you can now reach that section you've passed 100 times but could not reach before, is exhilarating. And the entire trek back to the location just builds the anticipation until you finally gain access and can move forward. But that joy and that anticipation, it will all be felt by yourself, because there are no friendly faces. There is no commander speaking to you through a garbled radio, telling you you're okay, or giving you advice when you're unsure. When you land on Zebes, you land there by yourself. You're on your own, and you will be for the entirety of the game. Now, that is no different than, say, a Mario game or The Legend of Zelda. In those games, you're traversing the world solo. But on those journeys, there are friendly inhabitants from time to time. Villagers, guides, people to help you along your journey. People to give you a reprieve from the action. People to make you feel safe. In Super Metroid, there is no reprieve, save for your trips back to the ship. There is nobody here to help you. There is nobody coming to save you. You are truly alone. And in the 20+ years since the game's release, with all the advances in technology, with all the money put into the industry, with all the emphasis put on building immersive games, nothing has made me feel completely alone like Super Metroid has. How accurate must this be to the feeling of eternal emptiness felt by astronauts and space explorers who find themselves miles away from home in strange new territories, often covered in darkness? The landscape is dead, there is no life on the horizon, and it adds to the feeling of anxiousness found throughout the game, and most likely experienced by someone realistically on this journey. It's just you and your wits. That's the only way you're going to make it out of this. Of course, this all sounds very dark for the player, especially for a young kid who is used to the bubblegum rainbow world of Super Mario Bros. But lucky for you, you can find strength in the character you're controlling throughout Super Metroid, the strongest video game character of all time. You can have your Master Chiefs, you can keep your Solid Snakes. Tell Kratos to kick some boxes angrily. There is no character that embodies strength like Samus Aran in Super Metroid, and she does it without saying a word. It's all in the design of the character. Now, other entries in the franchise may have missed the mark with Samus, but Super Metroid nails it. The suit of armor makes you feel powerful, like you can take on this cold and barren hellscape that is Zebes all on your own. While mechanical, the suit and the way Samus moves in it gives the player the sense that this is somebody who can handle her business. The visor that covers Samus's face gives her a distance, a fearlessness. There is no emotion. She doesn't make a face when you hit like Sonic. She doesn't smile when you do something right. She is unmoving, uncaring. You get the sense that she is so battle-hardened that she can't be scared or moved in any way. She is a rock, and everything about the character's design embodies that. No matter how bad it gets in this game, and believe me, it gets bad, you never feel out of control because Samus never feels out of control. Her design in this game is flawless. She's unflappable. She's here to do the mission and nothing is going to stop her, although there are plenty of creatures that will try. The inhabitants of Zebes you will encounter are generally hostile, whether by design or by nature. Space pirates of varying degrees of difficulty pepper the landscape. Their more alien allies will also attempt to stop you at nearly every turn. The enemies never get old though, because there are so many different types in the various areas and habitats that just when you think you've seen them all, a new one will pop up. Each area has enemy types that are native to it and seem to fit into the world seamlessly. Every enemy feels like they belong where they are, and it just adds to the immersion. Figuring out what weapon to use on which enemies, learning how to dodge attacks, and the rewarding sounds and visual effects when you defeat them make the combat in Super Metroid varied and fun from start to finish. It's the bosses that you'll never forget though. The boss battles in Super Metroid are legendary. Each battle unique in setting and strategy, they are some of the most intense and memorable in all of gaming, especially in your first run through the game. Learning their patterns and figuring out what it is that defeats them can take you more tries than you'd care to admit. That ominous feeling when you get to a save room, knowing that the next room will have you facing some cosmic horror straight out of Lovecraft is so intense. Will you have enough ammo? Is there some sort of trick to beating them? The game does an amazing job of making these boss battles feel special and separate from the exploratory combat in the rest of the game. Each battle takes place in an arena-like space, and these bosses are larger than life. Considering most enemies in the game are either the size of Samus or smaller, going against a boss who is so large they cannot fit on the entire screen gets your heart racing instantly, and the amazing boss battle music just adds to the tension. Fighting these bosses require you to use the skills you've learned throughout your playthrough, as well as implementing many of the tools you've acquired along the way. And the boss takes more damage, building the intensity of each confrontation until it's a fever pitch the moment you finally defeat them. The triumph of explosions, ammo, and health when these bosses are defeated make you feel like you won the Super Bowl, especially if you've been stuck on the same boss for hours and finally found a way to make it through. Sure, once you've beat the game a few times, I would rather not admit how many times I've beat Super Metroid.
Shame! Shame! Shame!
The bosses are considerably easier, but that first few experiences with each is so intense and so much fun. These battles are a masterclass in game design, but nothing beats the finale of Super Metroid. Spoiler alert. You've been everywhere on the planet looking for the last Metroid. You've upgraded Samus to levels of badassery you didn't even realize were possible at the beginning. You feel unstoppable and it's time to finish this thing. You got your revenge on Ridley. Now it's time to put an end to the Mother Brain and save the world from Metroids being used as weapons. Who is the Mother Brain? I didn't have a clue when I was a kid. I kinda don't now. I figured Ridley would be the end of things, but no. It's this giant brain god monster who is clearly bad news. It doesn't matter who she is, honestly. She is in the way of you saving the world and she has to be stopped. The fight is just as intense as the previous boss battles. This brain with a techno-dinosaur body and one eye starts wrecking you. If you didn't find a lot of energy tanks along the way, this battle can suck, as she deals massive damage. After hitting you a few times with what can only be described as rainbow laser vomit, official scientific term there, Samus falls down to a knee and is breathing heavily. It's the only sign of struggle she has ever shown in the game. You can't do anything but watch as Mother Brain drains your health with attack after attack. That's when my favorite moment in gaming history happens. The last Metroid, now fully grown, attacks the Mother Brain, latching onto her face. Samus stands by and watches as the creature who treated her as its own mother saves her from certain death. After sucking the life force out of Mother Brain, the last Metroid begins the process of transferring that energy over to Samus to save her life. But while the Metroid desperately tries to save its mother, the Mother Brain reemerges and begins an assault that ends the Metroid's life with a horrible screech. The feels, you guys. The feels. As the last Metroid's body explodes above you, its remaining energy showers Samus, making her flash with bright colors. You now wield the power of the Metroid, and it's time to take your revenge on the Mother Brain. There's no losing at this point. At least, I don't think there is. Just the satisfaction of avenging a 16-bit sprite that saved your life. You guys, this game made you fall in love with a parasitic monster that can't even talk. Once the Mother Brain is destroyed, there is nothing left to do, except escape because Zebes is going to explode in 3 minutes. There is no time to reflect on the final battle, as you have got to get back to your ship and get the hell out of there. You exit the atmosphere just in time as Zebes goes up in a massive explosion that feels so epic for a Super Nintendo game. Samus's ship flies towards the screen in freeze frame. The operation was completed successfully. What a ride. The sounds, the music, the upgrades, the bosses, the puzzles, the atmosphere, the secrets, the story. If you played Super Metroid in the 1990s, it absolutely blew your mind. If you played Super Metroid for the first time tomorrow, it would still blow your mind. It's timeless. Even with the Fallouts and the GTA 5s and the PTs of the gaming world giving you immersive experiences unparalleled by anything we have yet to see. A 2D side-scroller from 1994 without a single word of dialogue being spoken in the entire game is still the standard for immersion and gameplay. It's nothing short of a masterpiece. It might be the greatest game of all time. In each generation, there are games that define the era. Super Metroid is one of those games. In each genre, there are games that create the blueprint for others to follow. Super Metroid is one of those games. Very few games, however, will go on to define the entire idea of what gaming means as a medium. Super Metroid is one of those games, and that's why we love it. Progress is in fact impossible without change. A change of storyline, a change of setting, a change of the characters we get to play as, and a change of the way we literally see them. But most importantly, a change in the way that we feel about it. It is rare when a gem comes along and challenges just about everything we traditionally find in our games these days. And that's why we love Limbo. Before you click away, hear me out. Before you look at the art style and dismiss it as not for you, listen to what I have to say about what made this game an indie developer darling for gamers across the spectrum. You see, Limbo is that game.